Hey there, I'm Crystal Beasley. Remember how fun it was as a kid to pick up a Cheerio? Well, no, probably you don't, but you've no doubt watched the pure joy of a baby learning to feed themselves. Today we'll be talking about what the research into cognitive development tells us about how to bring your VR players back to those moments of delight.
Do I get to play the piano? I wonder if I'm good. Oh, that's awesome!
By filling your experiences with novel sensations that are not too easy, not too hard, but just right. More after the jump. This is Embodied Reality. Even if you've never donned a VR headset, you figured out how to navigate a new environment and control a new body, your own. As a baby, your brain didn't know how to do much of anything with your body. Outside of a short list of innate reflexes, you had to figure out everything from the ground up. Through extensive trial and error, you trained your brain to see and recognize a Cheerio, move your arm over, engage the hand in a pincher grip, and finally, mash aforementioned Cheerio into the mouth part. It's a complicated set of tasks that involves visual processing, motor control, and physical strength. You had to learn how to integrate all the information from your senses: visual, auditory, touch, taste, and smell, as well as proprioception, which is your sense of where the body is in space, and your vestibular system, which is your sense of balance. It takes months of repeated practice to finely tune the brain to integrate all of that information and coordinate a complicated set of actions that's required to nom a Cheerio. It takes so many failed attempts to get this right, and without regular rewards, we just quit. But fortunately for us, our brain makes it fun so that we stick with it.
Our brains and bodies are designed for achievement. Whatever those achievements are, our brains crave them, and when we achieve, our brains release chemicals that make us feel good, particularly dopamine.
All mammals, in fact, go through this phase of cognitive development that's characterized by a lot of play. The purpose of all this play is to train the brain to integrate all the sensory input it's receiving. Job number one of the baby brain is to figure out how to control their body so that they can later move around in their environment and one day feed themselves. As an adult, you don't get this drive triggered very often because you're in familiar environments most of the time. This is why you remember the day you went scuba diving in Australia more clearly than any of the 7,452 days you've spent in the town you grew up in. One theory as to why life seems to get faster and faster as we age is that we're exposed to fewer novel sensations. So our brain has less and less needs to commit all that information to memory. You get where I'm going with all this? VR. Virtual worlds. We get to give our players brand new bodies that they can learn how to control. We have a whole episode about that. And we make brand new environments, ones that can observe different laws of physics even.
I was strolling on the moon one day in a merry, merry month of December. Now, May.
Sorry, Internet, but VR is way more exciting than smartphone apps and web pages. The drive to learn and integrate novel sensory information is a deep evolutionary drive that never shuts off in us. You can bring adults back to those moments of sheer joy that they had as a baby moving their hand over to pick up a Cheerio. Humans and animals alike have an innate drive to play when provided with novel sensations. Our brain rewards us for exploring sensations that challenge or expand our ability to move around and interact with our environment. Researchers at the Stanford Virtual Human Interaction Lab gave players a third arm protruding out of their chest that they could control by flicking their wrist. Here's the thing. After only 2.5 minutes of training, they were able to grab boxes faster with 3 arms than with 2. Hold on. Now, hold on a minute. You're telling me people who spent their entire lives with 2 arms could do the task faster with 3? That is so wild. I suspect it's because they had way more fun grabbing boxes with their third arm than they did with 2 arms. They're faster because having 3 arms is a novel sensation, and 2, not so much. They were more delighted by the experience, and that delight translated to improved performance. I also expect they would be willing to stick with the experience for longer. Bottom line, one way to make more interesting content is to provide your players with novel challenges. Successful games harness this drive to play by giving their players just the right level of hard. If it's too hard, they bail. Let's say the researchers had asked the players to do something that required a whole bunch more than 2 minutes of training right off the bat. Say, having that third arm use chopsticks to grab a nigiri.
To turn on the left side, to hold the fish, sushi, just like this.
Well, most people wouldn't have stuck with it. On the other hand, if the experience is too easy, players also bail. The two-arm box grabbers didn't have enough challenge to keep it interesting. If your experience is just the right amount of hard, your players are hooked. Just like a little kid finishing a book and saying, "More, Daddy, more!" Your players will want to play your experiences over and over until they've mastered it.
Yellow shirt. Oops.
Today we talked about the 2 principles that will let you tap the innate desire to play. Giving your player novel sensations and making sure the challenge is not too hard, not too easy, but just right.
Good idea. I'm surprised you thought of it.
I'd love to hear how you're using these in your VR experiences, so hit me up in the comments below or on Twitter at Crystal D. Beasley. Check out the show notes for links to the studies I'm referencing and for links to related episodes. Till next time, I'm Crystal Beasley.
Never mind the crystal, we've got bigger problems.
And you've been watching Embodied Reality.
Everything's okay, I'm just trying to act my head.